Now that you've made the cards and generally understand the game, you'll want to think through some additional factors to tailor the game to your child and to deepen the learning experience. As we talked about earlier, when you're starting, you can determine how many sets of feelings your child can keep in his or her working memory. If you're not sure how many sets to start with, I would recommend starting with fewer sets and letting your child feel success, rather than choosing so many sets that the child feels frustrated and no longer wants to play. You could always increase the number of sets as your child achieves mastery and is ready for more challenge. Another factor to consider is which feelings you want to explore with your child. There's no right or wrong on this. I would recommend, if you're teaching basic feelings to a young child, you might just choose mad, sad, scared, and happy to start. Ensure that your child understands the vocabulary on the cards before you start as well. Just flip through the cards that you'll be using with your child, especially if they're pre-readers, so that they know which emoji faces go with which emotions. As you start to increase the memory challenge for young children, consider adding emotions like excited or loved, which are emotions that children tend to notice early and are typically non-threatening. However, be aware that you do not want to be avoiding the emotions that can be harder to talk about. I found that many children think of anger as a bad emotion or an unsafe emotion and tend to avoid it. When a child flips a mad card over and says, "Oh, I never feel mad," I'll show surprise and will normalize the emotion and may add my own experience. For example, "Wait, you've never felt mad? Like, never ever? Gosh, I notice mad all the time. It's not always a big mad. Sometimes it's a little mad. Actually, I felt a little mad this morning when I left my bread in the toaster for too long and it got burnt. I was a little mad, like, why didn't I check it earlier? So I just had to toss it out and make a new piece because these things happen. And I felt better. So I don't know, maybe sometimes you notice a little mad feeling like that? Generally, I'll start to get a little movement once I've normalized an emotion and showed that I can handle that emotion. It's really important to let kids know that all feelings are okay. To that end, you will also be modeling appropriate identification and expression of emotions when you play this game with your child. So be ready with your own child-appropriate examples to share. When I gave the burnt toast story, I made sure that the topic was child appropriate, maybe relatable, and not too heavy. I chose an example where I showed that I can handle the emotion and I'm okay, and where the child is not having to take care of me. When your child is sharing his or her emotions, empathize and give positive reinforcement for their hard work. When you're empathizing with your child, you are again validating their lived experience, letting the child know that you welcome all emotions and that you can handle all emotions. Similarly, by reinforcing the hard work of identifying and verbalizing emotions, you're increasing the chance that this skill will be repeated in real life and in real time. By the time your child is a teenager, you want that child to be able to come to you and talk about their emotional experiences with ease. That kind of behavior doesn't just happen on its own, it happens with lots of experiences where emotions are expressed and accepted without judgment. So start today. As with all play, keep it fun. You may have moments of deep dives, but the game should not feel overly heavy for you or for the child. Smile, laugh together, and take advantage of the time to connect with your child.